Today on Commander Replay, we check out Syr Alin the Lion's Claw. Is stacking a bunch of battle cry effects together as good as I hope? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have one new Patreon supporter in Daniel. Daniel, you are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. And be sure to use my TCG affiliate player link, because it helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Syr Alin the Lion's Claw today, and we're playing some Battlecry Tribal. So most of the creatures in this deck will have Battlecry abilities similar to Consul's Lieutenant and Syr Alin. Anyway, we took our free mulligan, and that brings us to turn 1. We'll lay down the Windbrisk Heights right here. And we've got Soul Ring, Grasp of Fate, Lightning Greaves. Lightning Greaves can be tutored. Soul Ring is really good mana ramp. By the time we can actually use Windbrisk Heights, we'll probably need the Grasp of Fate, so we'll go for that. But anyway, yes, Syr Alin the Lion's Claw, 3 white for a 4/4 with first strike. Whenever it attacks, other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. And we have a lot of those type of effects, plus some things that can make tokens, like Precinct Captain. Lots of fun stuff like that. So it's going to be a token, go wide sort of deck. And if we can stack a few of these Battlecry triggers, things should actually get pretty large. Brings us back to our turn. We draw into a new Benalia. Rhys redeemed opponent, by the way, has a bunch of stuff in play. Got a Talisman, got their Commander, got an Arbor Elf, and they've also got a Mistveil Plains. So anyway, our turn 2, we draw into a new Benalia that will come in tapped, which makes me just a little bit sad. Right here, we probably want to get the Precinct Captain going and see if we can start making some tokens, because the tokens will give us card draw with the Skull Clamp, so that's where I think I want to be. Precinct Captain on turn 2 with no blockers is actually like a pretty solid card. Now, it's going to get worse as the game goes along, but whenever you can hit it on turn 2, it's actually pretty sweet. I used to track all my damage with my Aurelia decks, and with Precinct Captain and its tokens, I've done about 22 damage in a game that went about 8 turns, so it can pump out some damage once those tokens get going, and for us, we can pump the tokens up, we can also feed them to the Skull Clamp, so lots of good things to be doing right there. Electrostatic Field coming down for the Torbran seems pretty good. Now, one knock against this deck is that it's maybe just a little bit light on removal for artifacts and enchantments. I was really trying to get a lot of things into this deck. And, you know, it's probably true that because you have Syr Alin, you don't actually need that many of the other Battlecry creatures, but I tried to jam as many of them as I could into this deck just for funsies, so that's where we're at. Anyway, that brings back to our turn. There's a True Conviction. This turn, I think it's gonna be probably gonna go Consul's Lieutenant this turn. So do some attacking with Precinct Captain. We'll send that over to Cadus, and they are playing Thromok today. They had a screenshot from over the weekend where they did, like, I don't know, 260 commander damage to a single player in a game. Pretty ridiculous overkill. Thromok, the overkill deck. Devour X, where X is the number of creatures devoured this way as it enters the battlefield. So once you get up around like 5 or 6 tokens, it starts to get really large. So we get in some damage on the Thromok. We get our Soldier token. That'll bring it to our second main phase. Let's get the Consul's Lieutenant into play. Actually, at the rate we're going, we probably could have went for the Soul Ring. I really thought it would take us a lot longer to get Windbrisk Heights going, but yeah, I guess not. I'm not going to show the Skull Clamp just yet. Hopefully we don't get wheeled, but lay down this new Benalia, get a Scry. Marsh Flats on top. Do we need another land? We're set up to make our next land drop, but yeah, we'll take the land because that will be our 5th land, and that 5th land will get us into the Gauntlet of Power, so I do like that. Also gets us into our Commander, which is nice. Opponent's saying it could be 4 token decks based on what we're showing so far. Torbran actually could be a token deck. That's not a terrible way to go with it, because each one of your tokens is going to do 2 additional damage, so it's almost like, even if they're 1/1s, it's like they have 3 power, so definitely not a bad way to go. And Torbran being piloted by Firemaker 282, we did take a look at Torbran about 2 weeks ago on the channel, and it's a pretty sweet little commander. Damage can pile up in a hurry. And then finally, we have Champion Nathun piloting Rhys the Redeemed. Rhys is a little bit scary in the sense of they can go a lot wider than we can. Our deck is sort of like it's like moderately go wide, but also go a little bit tall. Rhys can just go really, really wide. So that's a little bit scary. We might want to try to find like a Krovax or Elish Norn to clear out their tokens. Slate of Ancestry, that's a card in our deck. I don't play many Slate of Ancestry decks, so I'm pretty excited about this one. Hopefully we get the chance to use it at some point in the game. So that'll bring it back to our turn. We draw into that Marsh Flats, play the Marsh Flats. Everyone's got a blocker now. It's a little bit annoying. I don't know if Rhys is going to block the 2-1. I don't feel like Rhys blocks any of this stuff, so we're going to send the Precinct Captain and the Consul's Lieutenant their way. We'll leave the token back because I'm planning to Skull Clamp that this turn. They're going to block the Consul's Lieutenant, so that won't get the Renown ability on it. If you're not familiar with this one, by the way, it's a 2-1 first strike, Renown 1. Whenever it attacks, if it's Renowned, other attacking creatures you control get +1/+1, so another Battlecry creature for us. However, opponent does take damage from the Precinct Captain, and we'll get ourselves an extra token right here. And they do block with one of their tokens, so token down for them. We're going to play the Skull Clamp, equip the Skull Clamp. Token dies, we get to draw 2 cards. There's an Eldrazi Displacer and a Gaia Reach Sanitarium. What are we doing? I'm going to crack the Marsh Flats and get Mistveil Plains. I do want to get Mistveil Plains at some point. It's not crazy important in this deck, but there are a couple tutors, and if something ends up in the graveyard and we have one of our either equipment or the Recruiter of the Guard available to us, we can grab something if we need to, so I do like that. And then I guess we'll equip the Skull Clamp onto the Precinct Captain, just in case it dies for some reason. Next turn, we're going to have an interesting choice between Gauntlet of Power and our Commander. If I suspect that no removal's coming, I would go for Gauntlet of Power. If I do suspect removal, Syr Alin, I'd rather Syr Alin eats any kind of removal that people might have, so I might go that way first. Gauntlet of Power is the stronger play, but there's been 0 artifact and enchantment removal up to this point, so if anyone has any, it's definitely still available, so I think I might just hold back on the Gauntlet for a moment. Here comes a Purphoros for the red player. Yeah, that's probably going to put the focus on them a little bit. Unfortunately, Electrostatic Field is a little bit better of a blocker than I would have hoped, but interestingly, Thromok passes and leaves up their Sakura Tribe Elder. Oh man, that almost seems like a red board wipe. Ugh. Don't love that. No attacks from the Rhys opponent, and also passes with their mana open. Man, everyone passing with all their mana open. It's pretty scary. Yeah, I think we attack into the Torbran right here. We'll see which one they want to block. With Cryptolith Right and Purphoros in play, life's going to go away really quickly. Well, we have True Conviction. It's one of the few sources of life gain in the deck, but it is a very good source of life gain, so I guess there's that. Ooh, Torbran doesn't want to be a part of any combat tricks, so not going to block with the Electrostatic Field, so we get both triggers, Precinct Captain and the Consul's Lieutenant. And they go down to 34. Let's play the Gaia Reach Sanitarium right here, again, just in case of a wheel, and let's get our Commander. Still don't need the Grasp of Fate just yet. Will be really helpful against the Purphoros. Again, this is another card you don't want to run down there if you're expecting artifact and enchantment removal, so need to be very careful about that. Slate of Ancestry going to be a reasonable target as well. Ooh, that's a Garruk Primal Hunter. Well, we have enough tokens that we could probably put a little damage on the Garruk. They're going to make themselves a 3/3, makes it slightly harder to get in. But I guess all of our things will get +2/+2 when we attack. Next turn, assuming this board state holds up. Torbran coming into play. Yup. And there's a Purphoros trigger. Purphoros is a creature. It could be 4 damage to each player. Whew, down to 33. Mana Clash. You and target opponent each flip a coin. Mana Clash deals 1 damage to each player whose coin comes up tails. Repeat this process until both players' coins come up heads on the same flip. Opponent looking to roll the dice a little bit right there. We go down to 27 on that. Okay. Unfortunately, Purphoros is a really good blocker right here. Don't love that. But I think we're on the Slam True Conviction plan. The life gain's going to be incredible right here. Opponent going to make themselves an Elf Warrior at the end step. Yep. And they Mistveil Plains something. They Mistveil their land back to the bottom. Oh, you want to know what we can do? We can go on the attack. It'll make me... Oh, it makes me sad because we won't be able to get True Conviction in the same turn we do this. But it might be time to go on the attack, then activate Grasp of Fate and get Purphoros, Garruk, and Slate of Ancestry. That might be the plan. Ooh, that's an Enlightened Tutor. Play the Plains. Yeah, I think I like the Grasp of Fate play right here. Yeah, so let's go to combat. Get 2 Battlecry triggers, Syr Alin and Consul's Lieutenant. Activate Windbrisk Heights. Cast the Grasp of Fate. Opponent's got some plans before the Grasp of Fate goes off. You're going to untap a forest with the Arbor Elf. We're going to Grasp of Fate on the Garruk, the Purphoros, and the Slate of Ancestry. Ooh, opponent's going to play Entrapment Maneuver. Target player sacrifices an attacking creature. You create X/1/1 white soldier creature tokens with X as that toughness. Normally that gets me a little harder because I play more Voltron-y kind of decks, but yeah, we're just going to sacrifice a token right here. Opponent will get themselves 3/1/1s. Probably a card to play in this deck, actually. Kind of forgot all about that one. And opponent can activate the Slate of Ancestry before the Grasp of Fate resolves. A nice little play out of their part. Firing off a little bit of removal, getting themselves some tokens, and getting themselves some additional card draw. So, nice play by opponent. So, all those things go under the Grasp of Fate. Opponent discarded, ooh, an Avacyn. Shamanic Revelation, that's another good one in token decks, and a land. So, yeah, discarded a couple big things in hopes of trying to draw more stuff. So, we do need to be careful of like an overrun from the green player right here. We are a little bit exposed to that. Opponent gonna block our token with Torbran. We'll get another Precinct Captain trigger. Opponent goes down to 18. Oh my. So we get one token back into play, which is helpful just for blocking. Right here, I'm going to go Thaumatic Compass and sit on Enlightened Tutor. And we'll pass the turn like that. Pretty big hit into the Perforos. Put him down to 18. Ooh, one thing we got to be careful of. Swiftfoot Boots are in play for the Thromok. Now, they don't have tons and tons of creatures yet. Like I said, it's once they get up around like 4, 5, or 6 creatures that it starts to get really scary. Still nothing doing for the Thromok opponent. Yeah, that deck is a little bit tricky to get set up, honestly, because you really do need a bunch of tokens in play, and you just like can't cast your commander until you do. So, interesting design, but for where the game is at now, it is not the easiest thing to execute. Oh, hey, that's a Goblin Chain Whirler. We're going to lose 2 fairly valuable creatures in the Precinct Captain and our Soldier. However, the Rhys the Redeemed is going to get cleaned out right here. Oh, and by 2, I mean it's going to kill most of our stuff. That's going to be 3 damage to each creature in Planeswalker. Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot of damage. All right, well, looks like we're going to get a chance to go a little bit later than us just attacking furiously with a bunch of tokens and pumping them up. So we'll see what kind of resiliency this deck's got. Should have a little bit. I did build in some reanimation and some nice late game stuff, so we should be able to grind a little bit here. The one thing I am worried about is just that Torbran can do a lot of damage. That's just a thing that can happen. And if we're losing all of our stuff right here and they start swinging back at us, it's going to hurt pretty bad. Would have loved to have gotten the True Conviction play going last turn. So we lose all of our tokens, our Consul's Lieutenant, and our Precinct Captain. Syr Alin sticks around. At least we got something. We will draw some extra cards right here. Might as well fire off the Enlightened Tutor for the card draw. See if we can find something cool. Made a lot of last-minute changes right before we went to the game, so not exactly sure what we got left. True Conviction is a nice finisher. Might be more on like a value kind of plan. Feast and Famine is not terrible. Smothering Tithe is a very real card. I think we need more ways to generate tokens. We're kind of out of tokens. Light and Shadow is not the worst thing. We get one of our other guys back. I think I'm on Light and Shadow right now. That also gets us life gain. Yeah, I do like that. Let's get Light and Shadow. We draw an Austere Command. Cool. Oh, and opponent's going to finish off our Syr Alin with an Avacyn's Judgment. Okay. And Electrostatic Field. Ooh, Electrostatic Field puts us down to 20. Oh my god. Yeah, Torbran's pretty ridiculous. Ouch. Torbran coming in our way. This is going to hurt. We are down to 13. I'm pretty sure we started that turn cycle in the 30s. Yeah, I thought something like that might happen, and part of me really was thinking about going for the True Conviction play, but we removed a lot of good stuff with the Grasp of Fate, so, you know. I guess other opponents are down to 22, so everyone's pretty low at this point. Here comes a Mana Crypt. Nope, gotta be careful when your life's that low. But we're probably going to be on Austere Command right here. Here comes Rhys back to play. Yep. The Cast of Trostani, that's actually really good. So the life gain on that's the life gain on that's going to be really good in this situation. Although I am looking to blow up all the creatures with Austere Command, so unless they've got protection, it's probably not going to stick around all that long. Opponent's got a Skull Clamp. Yep. Skull Clamp onto the Trostani. Yep. So they'll get some card draw when that gets blown up. Chain Whirler, really good with Torbran in play. Oh my. So we draw a Thran Dynamo. That is actually some helpful mana ramp. Let's play this Flooded Strand. Crack this Flooded Strand. Puts us down to 12. Not amazing. Grab a Plains. Play Thran Dynamo. Play Austere Command on all creatures. Skull Clamp will trigger for the Trostani opponent. And we'll go to our end step. Thaumatic Compass will flip over. And opponent's going to play a Sprout Swarm. Nice. With buyback, so they do get it back. Our Spires flips over. I feel a bit safer with that, but the Swiftfoot Boots are still in play, and we won't be able to target anything with that. So we need to get some life gain going ASAP. Night Soil. Exile 2 creature cards from a single graveyard, create a Sapperling. Oh, that's so bad for our Light and Shadow. So bad. We'll need them to tap out for that. Can't actually see the Night Soil. It's behind the Garrick. But it's a card that I'm surprised doesn't show up more than it does. Yeah, I guess when you have things like Scavenging Ooze, maybe you don't need it, but it's a reasonable card. Exile creatures from a grave and get tokens back on it. Pretty sweet. Oh! Opponent's going to Hull Breach our Grasp of Fate and opponent's Mana Crypt. Okay. That's going to put Perforos back in play and the Garrick. Ouch. Perforos is scary. Ooh. Oh, man. Really wish we went for that True Conviction. I guess in the same sense, our True Conviction would have just gotten blown up, but we would have gotten at least one hit out of it and gained substantial amount of life, but whew, life is low. And here, oh man, and here's one of the things that like bothers me about mono white is just that there are not great ways to get haste. Boots, Greaves, and Akroma's Memorial are like really about it. And so like if we were playing red white, we could easily get something in with haste and try to get True Conviction going and all that stuff, but we're gonna have to do a bunch of things this turn, hope they survive, and then try to gain life back on the turn after that, and it's gonna be rough. Opponent attacking into the red player, that is wise. They go down to 13. Oh, that's a Chandra Flamecaller. Oh, God, that can do so much damage right now. Yep, gonna make 2 elemental tokens. That'll trigger Perforos twice. Yep, here comes 2 Perforos triggers. And we go down to 7. Oh, man. I'm gonna send both at the Garrick Wildspeaker. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if Thromok comes in and gets big, Garrick Wildspeaker draws the deck, so down for that. But I don't know how we survive right here. The opponent makes 2 tokens. That's going to be 4 damage to us. Tokens get exiled at the end step. I guess on the other hand, Chandra should take an attack from... Yeah, Chandra should likely take an attack from the stuff over here. Whew. Daru War Chief. Soldier spells cost 1 less to cast. Soldiers you control get +1/+2. Does this make soldiers? Makes warriors. Opponent's going to Skull Clamp it, just in case. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Plains. Play the Plains. Oh, the choices. I mean, I guess we get Gauntlet of Power. Does that help opponents? No. No Plains in play for our opponents. Choosing white. We need to get the Eldrazi Displacer in. We need to leave mana up for the Eldrazi Displacer. Wouldn't mind getting the True Conviction also, just because if anyone tries to attack, we'll get Double Strike and can gain life back. But that's a lot of mana. I don't think we have that much mana. Let's get Eldrazi Displacer. Put Skull Clamp on Eldrazi Displacer. That gives us a blink right there, and we'll have 3 mana left after that. Or we could just go for True Conviction. I guess we play the Sword. Play the Sword. Not going to equip it so we can leave all of our effects up. And I think we're just going on the Hope We Survive plan. Opponent's going to make an 0/1 plant token. Opponent said Night Soil is bugged. Oh. Maybe that's why it doesn't show up ever. Opponent says he can't activate Night Soil. Yeah. That's a problem. Was hoping they were going to kill the Chandra right here. Here's a Sprout Swarm. So, I mean, if they plus Chandra and cast their commander, we die? No. We're not just dead. We'll be at 1. If they cast their commander first and then activate it, then we're dead. And if they use the Cryptolith right. Oh, here comes Thromok. Okay. I know we could blink it, but we need them to kill the red player. That is our chance of surviving. Boots onto the Thromok. Yep, it's got haste. No trample, and we've got a blocker, so should be going in one direction. Thromok into the Torbran. Hopefully this does it. Down Torbran goes. Nice. I think we're going to survive. I don't think the green player is going to have anything to really do that much damage this turn. Usually takes them a turn or 2 to get going. Yes. It's looking good. Things are looking good. Opponent on 4 planes for the Remeria. We'll want to keep that in mind. And they can get a bunch more with Blighted Woodland. They can go up to 6. So not that far away. There's a Johnny Goldmane. That life gain mode seems much better than usual. But the minus mode is so good. Yeah, opponent going for the life gain. Nice. Back up to 18. 18 seems like so much life in this moment. Phyrexian Altar. Ooh, that's scary. Opponent going to send the War Chief over to the Thromok. I was thinking about bouncing the War Chief. We can still do it. It'll unequip the Skull Clamp. Will be extra annoying for them. On the other hand, unequipping the Skull Clamp I don't think is worth using the Eldrazi Displacer right here, just in case they have a Swords or a Path. Okay, they're just going to sacrifice it anyway. Alright, well, no harm, no foul. I suppose they could do all that in response, so yeah. If opponent has a Swords or a Path, I'd rather be able to protect our Displacer, because we're going to need that. Nature's lower for opponent, yep. They're on 5 planes, and Blighted Woodland is untapped. They could be on 7 at their upkeep. I think that makes Rhys the target. Brings it back to our turn. Ooh, that's a Lena. Lena is sweet. Let's equip this Sword of Light and Shadow. Let's play True Conviction. Let's go to combat. Really hope this resolves. Swing into champion. This might be dangerous with the open mana. They have 3 cards. Hopefully none of it's removal. I guess we're protected from swords and path now. Fog could also be a thing. It's a Teferi's protection. Okay, okay. It's not amazing. It's not amazing. Was hoping to gain all that life, and that was probably a reason to go at Thromok, but guess we need to burn that Teferi's protection. We gain no life and get no triggers. Sad. Very sad. I think we're going to play Lina right here and get ourselves just blockers and protection. Well, they've all got double strike. Okay. Double strike and lifelink. True Conviction's such a good card. So, even if Thromok gets trample, as long as it doesn't get bigger, some chance that we survive. It's not like an amazing chance, but... Sylvan Library for opponent. Yep. We would gain 16, so it would actually exactly neutralize the Thromok damage. No attacks for opponent. That's a Champion of Lambholt. That's not scary at all. Opponent's gonna Skull Clamp it. Looking for the answer. Opponent tapping up a lot of mana. That's a Martial Coup. Okay. Well, we're gonna sacrifice Lina. That'll protect our tokens. Displacer will go down, but we will get to draw off of it. Sacrifice Lina. Heroic Intervention out of the Thromok. That's scary. We get a Skull Clamp trigger. Our tokens survive. We get Selfless Spirit and Myriad Landscape. Opponent's got a bunch of 2/2s. Little Vigilance wouldn't be the worst thing ever. Opponent gonna keep gaining life. I probably would have went minus mode on the Johnny, honestly. Get those tokens pumped up. You're talking 8 3/3s. That's a lot of damage, especially everyone's... between the two of us, we have a combined 20 life, although, in all likelihood, our life should go up this turn. Opponent's gonna... Ooh, Generous Gift on our True Conviction. Oh, that makes me so sad. Oh, that was the thing we needed. Life's gonna be rough now. They did sacrifice some tokens doing that. We get an elephant out of the deal. True Conviction was the one that was going to bring us home. We could still gain a little bit of life with the Light and Shadow, but we're going to gain a ton of life with the True Conviction out. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Makokoro. Eldrazi Displacer and displace all of the tokens is not the worst thing I've ever heard. Let's equip the Light and Shadow. Swing with the elephant. Oh. I'll let Thromok deal with the Ajani. Ajani can ultimate. We need the sword trigger very badly. Hit opponent, get a sword trigger. What are we getting back? Right now I'm caught between Lina and Eldrazi Displacer. Our commander would cost 7 right now. Let's see how much total mana we have available. That's 6. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have up to 14 mana. Our commander would be 7. Lina would be 6. That's 13. That gives us 2 creatures plus 2 more tokens. I think that puts me on Eldrazi Displacer right here. I feel safer with the Eldrazi Displacer. We go up to 10, get back the Eldrazi Displacer, go to our second main phase. We're probably going to play we'll try to leave the Thran Dynamo up. Play the Displacer. Commander is 7. Whew, woof. If we tap that, that'll give us 1 activation on the Displacer. I think I would feel better with 2 activations on the Displacer. So let's get Selfless Spirit, Skull Clamp on the Displacer. I think it's an okay time to go for Myriad Landscape right here. Pulling some planes out of the deck would not be the worst thing. We might run into an Emeria at some point. Sylvan Library trigger for our opponent. That's like, even though they probably can't draw with it, that's still pretty huge. Just getting to look at more cards now that it's further along in the game. That's a Gaia's Cradle. No attacks out of the Thromok. That sounds good to me. Opponent's going to minus the Ajani. Displacer probably keeping them off of the ultimate because we can just blink the token. Opponent's still on 5 planes with the Emeria. They'll probably be on 7 next turn. So sacrificing the Blighted Woodland. And this is probably going to be planes number 6 and 7. Goes for only planes number 6. Interesting. Perhaps a boo-boo on their part. Yeah, opponent's sad that Night Soil's not working. Opponent's going to activate Slate of Ancestry. That's going to get him a lot of new cards. 5 new cards. Oh, that's a Conqueror's Pledge. Bunch more 2/2s incoming for our opponent. Yup. Should have put the Skull Clamp on the Selfless Spirit. I forgot that Gauntlet of Power is in play, and it would have enough toughness to survive that. Whoops. I mean, we can exile a lot of our opponent's tokens with the Displacer. Opponent going to sacrifice some of those tokens and get some mana. Here comes Whatley Radiant Champion. Put a loyalty counter for each creature you control. Okay. Probably time to start blinking stuff. Blink will obviously go for the bigger ones first that are also vigilant. Opponent floats 1 mana. Opponent's going to put a Skull Clamp on another token with the floating mana. They will sacrifice it to draw some cards and get more mana. Equip it to another token, draw more cards. Card that I wouldn't mind seeing off the top right now is just Lightning Greaves. If we could get haste on our commander, that would actually be probably enough damage to kill the Rhys player. Opponent's got 3 blockers left. Not too bad. Gonna send 1 into the Thromok. It's an interesting choice. Thromok gonna block. They exchange damage. The token goes down. Skull Clamp will trigger. Why they didn't just sacrifice it to get more mana if they wanted to... Not a clue. If we remove these 2 tokens, we've got lethal on Rhys. We just got to make sure we don't die to Thromok. That's a Smothering Tithe. That's a card. With a Makokoro and a Guide Reach Sanitarium. I guess play Makokoro. Cast... Yeah, maybe we don't need to go on that plan just yet. I guess blink the 2 tokens, kill our opponent. Seems like the most logical play. Opponent said no removal for Displacer. Yep. Displacer MVP when you've got doubled mana and you're facing down a token deck. Opponent sacks it and floats mana. Send everything at the Rhys player. Really wish we had that True Conviction still. Oh, man. That play almost got us, the not going for it early. Opponent goes down. We get a Sword of Light and Shadow trigger. I'm thinking Lino right here. So we gain 3 life, go back up to 13. How much mana do we have? Let's get Lina into play. That's going to give us a lot of blockers, and I like that. Plus protection. That gets us 3 tokens. Sweet. Put Skull Clamp on the... I guess put it on Lina, since it might have to block. And then we can mess around with some blinks or Myriad Landscape as necessary. Opponent pointing out they'd have several blockers if Night Soil was working. Yeah, that sucks. We're probably dead, by the way, if Night Soil is working. Because that means we haven't gotten back Displacer or Lina. And opponent's also got a bunch of just chump blockers down. That's a Steel Shaper's Gift. Well, we're going to get a look at our commander right here. Might be hamming it a little bit, but just to make sure we've got enough damage. Get the Lightning Greaves. Cast our commander. Get the boots. Put boots on our commander. Go to combat. Leave 1 guy back just in case we get fogged. And down opponent goes. Nice. I'm glad we got to see our commander right at the end right there. Opponent had a Kozilek in hand. How much mana were they on? 6, 7, 8. Oh, yeah, just a little bit short. So if they had like 2 tokens from the Guy's Cradle, they would have been able to cast Kozilek with haste. Yeah, so Night Soil not working really shot them in the foot. Next card was Recruiter of the Guard. That's a good one. So, yeah, thoughts on this deck. Syr Alin, the Lion's Claw. It's fine. For 2 more mana, you get Elesh Norn out of the command zone, which is just way better. Elesh Norn is like one of the best white creatures. Elesh Norn usually says at least 1 player at the table can't have their commander in play until Elesh Norn is gone. Syr Alin just doesn't do that. It's a little faster. It's a decent body at 4/4. The other thing that this deck is missing, I played a deck very similar to this, a Battlecry Tribal with Aurelio one time, and the multiple combats really, really helps. Mono White does not have a multiple combat spell. Now, I did look this up. Additional combats are a tertiary ability in Mono White, so it could happen someday, but it hasn't happened yet. And even beyond that, you need that to either be on a creature out of the command zone, or you'd probably need a couple of them to really make it worth going in on that plan, or like have it attached to an equipment or something like that that can be easily tutored in mono white. If you're just hoping to draw it out of your 99, still not going to be the most reliable plan. So yeah, Syr Alin, probably its best home is going to be in something like a Boros deck, maybe a Naya deck where extra combats are really on the table. Mono white by itself, there are better things to pump up your creatures like Elesh Norn, other anthems, or other effects in general, like maybe a Teshar out of the command zone wouldn't be terrible for this deck. We could get a number of things back with that. Granted, it's a different deck concept when you get into that, but yeah, Syr Alin was fine. It came out and was very aggressive, so if you're not expecting a lot of removal in your meta, it can actually be pretty quick. We laid down a bunch of creatures nice and early that do good things for us, and before the board wipe, we actually had a lot of damage present. After the board wipe, it was really difficult to rebuild. We did have a lot of late game stuff in there, but because we didn't ramp like crazy, it does take a long time to rebuild, and the lack of haste in mono white is just always an issue. So that turn where we thought we were going to die to Torbran and Perforos was really scary because we had everything in play, we got wiped, and we had almost no chance to respond to anything going on over there. Like, there just wasn't enough time, so that was pretty scary. Luckily, Perforos being such a big threat to everyone, opponent just took them out, so that helps a lot. There is something to say about not being the most threatening deck at a table or having the most threatening cards in play, and if you're playing Syr Alin, a lot of times that'll probably be you. You will probably not have the most threatening things in play. But on the other hand, things like Light and Shadow, Eldrazi Displacer, some of these more value-y pieces were actually pretty sweet and kept us going through the late game. It kind of sucks for our opponent that Night Soil wasn't working. They probably win if it was. Or at the very least, we have to go on a different kind of plan and try to find things to Skull Clamp and this and that. And just go about things differently. Either way, it's not looking good for us if we're not getting those Light and Shadow triggers. The other thing with this deck, too, is it's very light on artifact and enchantment removal. I was trying to get a lot of things into the deck. So if you're going to build this deck, add a Return to Dust, add a Crush Contraband. There's 31 creatures, so honestly, a creature or two probably needs to come out. But yeah, it's really, really light on artifact and enchantment removal right now, so I would definitely get something in there for that. Aura of Silence, also really good with Amaria Shepherd and Sun Titan. Another card that's been really sweet, didn't make this deck list, but could easily go in, is Savine's Reclamation. I've been seeing that used a little bit, and that one's been very good, so definitely a card worth checking out. One of the better mono white cards, especially if you need to get things back, you need to get swords back, stuff like that. Pretty good. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.